Hey, you. Yeah, you. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast?
We're two busy moms and boss ladies. If we can do it, you can too. When we were trying to get this podcast off the ground, we had a lot of questions. How do we record an episode? How do we get our show into all the apps people like to listen to? How do we make money from a podcast?
The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what we're doing right now by reading this ad. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join us in the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor.
That's anchor.fm/start. We can't wait to hear your podcast. You're listening to Boss Ladies and Babies.
Business BLAB.
We're taking off our mom hats and letting our entrepreneurial side show.
So grab a notebook and give yourself a bossy timeout.
Welcome back to Business BLAB. This is Megan.
And this is Mickey.
Hello, everyone. In this episode, we are talking about that love-hate relationship that we all have with social media. Raise your hand if you have a love-hate with social media, because I'm sure most of us do. It's the thing that sucks up all of our time, all of our energy, brings out the comparison monster, the thing that we know we have to do for our business. Sometimes it's for pleasure, but usually it just is a giant suckhole of either time waste or business help. So the number one way to get around those uncomfortable feelings and overwhelming feelings about social media is to focus on your consistency. Consistency is the way to carve out an audience, know who your audience is, show up for them, and don't leave them guessing. Let them know what to expect, and you can do that by being consistent and a few other things. So we're going to share some of our tips on how to be consistent on social media.
First of all, be you. Even if you only help one person, they need to see that. Focus on helping one person at a time and leading with value. Getting involved with authentic, real people that want to help other people, building your network before you need it. Don't be afraid to ask for a connection. They're on there to build these relationships with people, and especially now during a pandemic when we're not able to go out and be networking in person. Social media is our socialization. I mean, we have to use it for that social interaction. So make the most out of it, be authentic, and be you so you can make those genuine relationships with people.
You guys, I literally have an entire program structured around the idea of being you and showing up as you on social media. So this one is huge. Do not take it lightly. Do not try to be other people. Do not worry about what everyone else is doing. We'll get into that more here in just a bit. Just be you on social media and in everything you do in life. And to be you, you really need to be good at owning your value. There are people out there waiting for you to help them. Have faith in what you do, be good at what you do, and someone out there will pay the price. They've been waiting for you. Be a good person. People will use your service because you're doing what you do for your customer and you're sharing it with the world. One of the biggest things that you can do in business is offer free value to people to help grow that trust, grow that connection. And when it's time for them to purchase what it is that you have to offer, you've given them so much value that there's no question they're going to choose you. So own your value.
Yeah. Next is just to stop comparing yourself. It's so hard to do on social media because, I mean, we're literally, especially Instagram, like flooded with all these images, and they're all like perfectly curated to look perfect. It's not real life. That's not necessarily what's actually going on behind the scenes. And that's true in personal lives and business. So don't base yourself and compare yourself to what you see out there because, you know, it's not real. It's not necessarily authentic. And you can't compare your real life with someone's, you know, highlight reel.
Highlight reel, absolutely. And even if it is real, even if it isn't just the best of the best, their greatest hits, You cannot compare your beginning to someone's middle chapter. I just read that in a book the other day, and that sat with me so hard. Like, you cannot compare your beginning to someone's middle chapter. These people that have been doing what it is that you're looking up to were where you are when they started. You might not see that on their social media now, but I challenge you to scroll back a little while and see what it looked like when they were first getting started. You will be where they are one day, and somebody might be comparing themselves to you. So just remember, don't be so hard on yourself. The next thing that you need to do is not overcommit. You really don't have to keep up with all the bells and whistles. Social media keeps throwing more and more at us. So you just need to find what you can commit to and run with it. Pick a couple platforms that you feel really comfortable with, but also platforms that your ICA is hanging out on, right? So where is your ideal customer spending their time? What platforms do you feel comfortable with and actually have fun using? Use those two things as a guide to tell you where to show up and what to do.
Be intentional. So you need to have some kind of strategy. I know that I feel the pressure sometimes. Oh, I haven't posted in a while. I need to post something. Don't get yourself in that hole. Don't dig yourself that grave. You need to have some kind of strategy. If you can sit down and even jot down a few ideas of like themed posts, even if you're repeating those themes every week or every month, having a little bit of an outline and some structure is going to help those posts have better quality. First of all, make it less stressful for you, and usually it's going to be, more intentional and more about what you're actually trying to portray or help your customers with, instead of just kind of empty filler.
It's better for you to post literally even once a month than it would be for you to just throw crap out there that isn't true to your brand, isn't true to your message, isn't true to what you are trying to do. And as Mickey said, to have a few themes, you absolutely should have at least 4 content pillars that are educational, motivational, relatable, or inspirational. At least 4 things that you can always fall back on and know that these are true to my brand, true to my message. These are the things that I can always fall back on, to be intentional with my posts so I'm actually serving people and providing them value every time I show up. I'm not just throwing something out there to keep up with everyone else. I'm doing it in a way that is offering the most value and connection for my audience so that they'll keep coming back to my page. When you're just blindly winging it, people see right through the crap and they're not going to stick around. The next one is, as we're speaking about your message, discovering your message. Who do you want to be perceived as? Make sure that your message is clear in everything you do, every time you show up. And a great way to do this is to define your content pillars, like we were just talking about, and stick to them. Think about what you want to be known for and how you can really be the expert in that thing every time you interact on social media.
And kind of going along with that is to know your brand. So let your brand guide you through what you post. So going through those pillars, making sure that what you're posting is reflecting of who you are, what your values are, what you're trying to help people with. Just once you know your brand and you're confident in yourself and what you want to portray, it's so much easier to find out and figure out what you want to be posting and sharing with the world.
Mm-hmm. If you really want to get in the habit of sharing your message, posting intentionally, sticking to your content pillars, the best way to do that is to batch your content. When you are not struggling with overwhelm and frantically just needing to throw something out there, it's so much easier to show up and do all these things that we're talking about and to really be consistent. So you don't have to get carried away with the content batching, even if you're just planning 1 week at a time, and getting those posts actually scheduled will save you so much time and so much energy. It's a little bit of work up front, but it is so worth it for how you're going to show up for your audience. So take some time, gather some photos, get a library going, create some graphics on Canva, get some ideas rolling, open a notes in your phone and start saving caption ideas. Maybe put the different caption ideas under your 4 different pillars so that anytime you need like an inspirational post, you have a caption idea that you can just go and grab from. Have a plan, and the plan should include at least some batching, at least a week, preferably a month, but at least a week.
Next is to focus on connection. So I know it's really easy to get caught up in like the hustle of, oh, how many followers do I have? How many likes did this post get? But it's not about the followers, it's about the engagement. So spend less time worrying about how many followers you have, how many likes your posts are getting. Focus on those authentic connections. Take the time to like take a deep breath, relax, and have fun with your social media. Go through and interact with people when they do comment on your page. Go follow other like-minded, accounts.
Yeah, definitely. One big thing that so many of us are guilty of is focusing on that follower count, and we don't feel like successful or like we've made it until our follower count is a certain number. I want you to look at it this way. You know, when somebody gets famous and they always tell them not to forget the little people, when you are only focusing on the growth of your follower count, you might not be realizing those 3 or 4 people who are showing up for you and commenting and liking everything that you do. You might be brushing off those connections that are trying to happen just because you're so worried about how many followers you have to look more legit. But if you're not engaging with your followers and they aren't engaging back, it doesn't matter if you have 10 or 10,000 followers. If they are not engaging with you, they're not even really followers. They're just numbers that are making you feel better or look better. So really, really focus on every time you post, spending at least 15 minutes or so engaging with other accounts, liking, commenting. If you get upset that nobody's liking or commenting your stuff, think about when's the last time you liked or commented on other people's pages. If you're posting polls or questions on your story and nobody's interacting, think about when's the last time you interacted with somebody else's story. Start engaging yourself and people will start engaging back with you. And for the love of God, do not worry about how many followers you have. That is not important at all. Yes, it feels good, but it's not the goal here. Lastly, enjoy the process. Social media is supposed to be fun. Yes, it is a great tool for our business, but at the heart of it, it's supposed to be fun. And we're doing what we love in our business. Hopefully, if you're not, we should talk. So you want to really show that to your audience. Show that you're having fun. Show up, be yourself. Share your highs, share your lows, share all your experiences in between and have fun with it. Because if you're just there to be there and you hate it, and every time you have to think about posting, you dread it, you probably shouldn't be heavily focusing on social media in general.
Yep. So we will leave you all with that. And until next week, stay bossy.
Thank you for listening to Boss Ladies and Babies. If you like this episode, be sure to rate, review, and leave us some feedback.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook and join the conversation in our Facebook group at Boss Ladies and Babies.
And until next time,
Stay bossy.